Dark Souls 3 is the most anticipated Souls games to date, and sadly it might be the last game as well. So of course it pays homage to the first game that started this legendary series, which is Demon Souls. I am SanitSK, and today I'm going to be showing you 10 hidden references for Demon Souls in Dark Souls 3. So without further ado, let's go and see some nostalgic stuff. So the first thing we're gonna start with is the Northern Regalia. The Northern Regalia can be created in Demon Souls by having two swords, which were Soulbrand and Demon Brand, alongside the False King Soul. Now when you have all of those together, you can combine all of them to create the Northern Regalia, which was one of the strongest weapons in Demon Souls, and its bonus damage scaled with either if you had the pure character tendency, if it was white or black. It's just a complicated concept in Demon Souls. I'm not gonna even bother trying to explain it to you. But anyways, in Dark Souls 3, when you kill the Prince's boss found in the Lothric castle, you take their soul and you can create two swords. One of them is Lorien's Great Sword and the other is Lothric's Holy Sword. Now if you have both of those weapons together, either by going to NG+ and creating the other weapon, or someone might have dropped it to you, you can combine them together to create the Twin Prince's Great Sword. And this weapon is amazing. It is strong, and also with the availability of weapon art in Dark Souls 3, you can use both weapon arts of the Lorien's Great Sword and Lothric's Holy Sword at the same time. So it's like the stance, and then you can press either R1 or R2 to do the attack of the respective sword, which is amazing. And the sword itself is very strong and it looks very amazing. Next we have IRINA of Carim and EYGON of Carim. Now IRINA is an NPC that you find in the Undead Settlement, and once you free her, you actually know that she has a protector called EYGON of Carim, and he says he's going to be friendly with you and if you do not let the IRINA get hurt, because he is her protector. And if you give Dark Braille Tomes to IRINA and buy all of her dark spells, EYGON is going to kidnap her and try to make you avoid talking with her, because you basically doomed her while giving her the dark tomes and learning the dark tales before her. So he actually turns hostile and starts to protect her because he doesn't want you to hurt her. Now the same case scenario in Demon Souls, there was a maiden called Maiden Astraea that went down to the Valley of Defilement to help the people there and try to make them better, but she was actually corrupted herself, and she had a guardian with her called Garl Venland, a very amazing fellow, and he had an amazing big hammer and a unique looking armor and a shield. And when you approach them, Garl Venland tries to protect Maiden Astraea with his life. The same case scenario from Dark Souls 3 with EYGON. And actually Garl Venland sounds like Stannis Baratheon a lot, just to hear this quote.
May you rot in the deepest depths of this swamp. You will not turn back, will you? How dare you persist in intruding upon our haven? We shall defend our hearth and home to the death.
So the first boss that you fight in the game is Iudex Gundyr, and many people and fans of Demon Souls, when they saw the armor set, they immediately saw the resemblance between him and Old King Doran from Demon Souls. Now let's compare both of those sets visually. Both of them has a crown worn on the head, both of them has bare-legged armor, bare feet armor, and both of them has those muzzles on his chest and on his belly, like the six-packs they both have, and it's in general a very close resemblance to them. But the most strengthening thing about this is that the headpiece of Iudex Gundyr says that it is modeled before an old king, which Old King Doran basically. So the only thing missing in Dark Souls 3 is his death scream. When you killed Iudex Gundyr or Champion Gundyr, this is what should have happened. The next one is the Firekeeper, and the Firekeeper is super reminiscent of the Maiden in Black in Demon Souls. Both of them, you level up on them. Both of them share a lot of same dialogue, like the following.
Then touch the demon inside me.
Then touch the darkness within me.
I'm sorry, I cannot die, not while the Nexus binds me.
I'm truly sorry, but knowest thou not, I cannot die.
And both of them are speaking when you are leveling up your character in the menu, which adds a lot of atmospheric feeling to the game.
Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel.
Let these souls withdrawn from their vessels.
And both of them have their eye sockets covered. Also, Firelink Shrine in general, it looks like the Nexus, like the stairs and the thrones, like the same as the Archstones from Demon Souls, and it is like it isn't connected to anything in the game, which is very nice actually, very nice reference to Demon Souls. The FLUTED set in Demon Souls was like the main set of the game, which was on the covers and all that, and the helmet of it is actually in Dark Souls 3 but as a cut content. Now the helmet is super similar to the one from Demon Souls, but the armor set itself is different, but the head is a direct reference to the FLUTED set, and I upload a lot of cut content from Dark Souls 3, and the video for this set along with some other sets is going to be uploaded very soon, so be sure to check that out when it's released. The next reference is kind of a hidden one and most people wouldn't notice it because it is very vague, and it involves GREIRAT, the NPC that you find in the High Wall of Lothric. Now this NPC gives you the blue Tearstone ring, which increases your defense when your health is low. Now this ring existed in all Souls game, and it existed in Demon Souls but under a different name, which is the Dull Rat ring. And if you see GREIRAT's name, like grey, if you take the color grey, it is a dull color, and then rat, like dull rat ring, it's the same thing as the blue Tearstone ring. I know it's a bit of a reach, but it actually makes sense, and actually his questline, when he tells you to give the ring to Loretta, you find Loretta's bone hanging and then you return it to him and then he's crying and all that. It is also same as Stockpile Thomas from Demon Souls, where you give him his daughter's brooch and he also goes sad and all that stuff. Next one is Patches. Now we all know Patches was in all Souls games except Dark Souls 2, we all know that. That's not what I'm going to be talking about, but rather I'm going to be talking about the ring that Patches has, which is the Horsehoof ring. And actually the description is super funny. It reads, "Unbreakable Patches adored this ring and the feeling that it gave him when he kicked his marks into the depths of the treacherous traps, but suffered no shortage of ridicule from his associates for relying so heavily on the tired old trick. But who is the sorrier, the horse who knows only to kick, or the fool who approaches the old beast without thought?" Now this basically From Software says that we are fools for falling for Patches' trap every time, and this is a reference to all of the Souls games before that. That's how Patches actually tricked you. He like tells you that there's treasure down there and then he kicks you from behind with his leg. And the description itself, that it boosts kick effect, is very funny. Like it's like they're all appreciating Patches from all of the previous games when he kicked you with his leg. Even when he was a spider he kicked you. So yeah, it is a very funny reference. The next reference we have is Tower of LATRIA. Now Tower of LATRIA was basically a level in Demon Souls, like it was basically a dungeon full of cells and full of a lot of creepy stuff and creepy enemies and a lot of like some NPCs and hidden secrets and stuff. But in Dark Souls 3 there's the Earthhill dungeon, which the design of it is very similar to the Tower of LATRIA from Demon Souls, and it has keys and it has many cells with different keys and many enemies and abominations, and frankly both of them you can free an NPC which sells you magic spells and pyromancies. And this leads us to the reference, which is YURIA the Witch. So YURIA the Witch was a witch basically in Demon Souls that you find imprisoned, and when you first talk to her she thinks you're the enemy, but once you remove the official's hat and you talk to her she knows you're friendly, and then she becomes a merchant to sell you spells and stuff. Now same thing in Dark Souls 3 with an NPC called Carla. First you find her imprisoned and first you talk to her, she thinks you're the enemy and then becomes a merchant. And both of them first share the same armor set, basically same facial features and same voice actor. Imagine that. So they basically took the NPC from Demon Souls and put it right in Dark Souls 3 and just renamed her to Carla, and she is the same thing exactly. But this Carla is very interesting, as there are a lot of theories saying that she might be Nashandra, or at least one of the daughters of the Abyss created from the Shards of Manus. Many interesting stuff, a lot of lore. And the last reference we have is from the ending of Dark Souls 3. I didn't want to put this in the beginning or in the middle, I went it to the end because I didn't want people who didn't see the endings to be spoiled. But if you give the Eyes of the Firekeeper to the Firekeeper in Final Shrine and you summon her, you actually like get this cutscene, but the last 10 seconds of the cutscene where everything goes dark, you can actually kill the Firekeeper. And once you kill her, you just like when she falls onto the ground, and then you just like slam your foot on her head. Same as the ending of Demon Souls when you kill the Maiden in Black in the ending. Like, this is fan service in its finest. Like, as soon as I saw the ending, I immediately thought of Demon Souls and I immediately saw the reference. It's so cool seeing it. Like, it's a very harsh reference, but it's also cool in many other ways. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe for more Dark Souls content, and I'm going to be doing a couple of those for the different Dark Souls games, as well as one special video, not a Souls game related, like reference to in Dark Souls 3, and I think die-hard Dark Souls fans know what I'm talking about. So I guess I'll see you later. Bye.